Venerated houses of stone. The state of Zimbabwe has an interesting history behind it, and one of the most important reasons why it got its name is the ruins that are found there. The colonial powers were unable to accept that an African community could have built such an amazing set of structures, which in the language is said to mean venerated houses of stone. Here, we look at the story behind the structures and also the history associated with it. When the Europeans came to southern Africa, they were taken aback to see the beautiful architectural splendor and immediately concluded that this could not be the work of any African tribe and must have been by someone else. The reason they gave was that Shona farmers who lived in mud and thatched huts couldn't have built structures of this magnitude. A 16th century Portuguese explorer opined that these structures were from the land of Ophir, a biblical site said to be the source of King Solomon's gold. Other historians felt it belonged to the age of a queen of Sheba. They were ready to give any theory as long as it did not in any way attribute the ruins of the African community. Finally, it was left to the process of carbon dating to prove without doubt it belonged to the era of the Shona tribes. There were great remnants of the farming tribes that had a flourishing trade too. Around 18,000 residents controlled trade in gold and ivory. The structures are in Rhodesia, and when the Africans got complete freedom from colonization, they renamed the area Zimbabwe. The largest set of ruins covering more than 1,779 acres. And the society that built it are known as Great Zimbabwe to distinguish them from the country at large, and from the dozens of other stone ruins also called Zimbabwe's. Very little is known about the daily life of the Great Zimbabwe, mainly because of racism, and secondly, most archaeologists of that time were fortune hunters and were not ready to give credit to anyone other than the Europeans. Some of the relics were thrown away and a few soapstone birds were preserved, and we can see them on the Zimbabwe flag today.
Debris around the sites shows that people who lived within and around the stone walls grew and ate millet and sorghum, grains that they tilled with handheld hoes of wooden or iron. Peter Garlick, a Zimbabwean expert on the ruins, writes in his book Great Zimbabwe that residents of Great Zimbabwe often ate beef. As in much of Africa before the European conquest, land was plentiful, but labor was relatively scarce.